Yeah, I won't shit on it. I think
You just wish there was a Canadian Forrest Gump.
I mean, but it would be the same thing. It would just be a guy watching Forrest Gump, being like, "Oh, this is so cool that this is happening over the border." So this is funny. We haven't talked about this. Is that this show is broadcast completely out of order, which means that obviously they were not confident in from the source. Well, so I was looking this up because I went to the last episode. So at the end of it, Lou comes into John's apartment and is like, "Oh, this is how you live," and I was like, he's seen his apartment already with the episode with his mom, because remember they like kiss or whatever.
Oh,
so I looked.
Yeah.
Episode 10, production code 103. This was the third episode produced, and then I looked at all of them. It goes 101. So the pilot was the first one produced, but then it goes 107, 110, 102, 111, 113, 109, 112. Worlds Collide, the last episode where it's revealed that Jane is her job is finally revealed. It was the fourth episode produced. So it actually does make sense. It's like, yeah, 4 episodes in, we say where our main character works. They just didn't broadcast it until near the end.
What? Why? Yeah. Now I feel like we should rewatch it
in the correct order. Yeah. But also it's weird because it's like, I don't know if I can like make so to some extent, yes, like the jumps in quality I guess makes sense because then it was like, we're not actually watching it linearly, but then also you said episode 11 is the best episode of the show. That was the 5th episode produced, so I have no idea what's going on.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This show is it's like the more we stare at it, it's like a Pollock painting.
I know. It's so confusing. I mean, this episode was also another one where I'm like, guys, I don't know. Like, I have a lot written down, as always, but like, I don't know there's moments I thought were funny, but on the whole, like, goddamn.
Interesting. See, I actually kind of liked it. Kind of liked it. So maybe this is one of those Mulaney Rewatch podcast episodes where we disagree on certain things.
Yeah. Those classic Mulaney Rewatch episodes where it gets heated.
Oh, yeah, those classic ones. Well, no, I actually thought it was interesting. I just thought it was like, it wasn't good, but it was tight. It was like...
Yeah.
It was like not wasting time. There was a lot of jokes that flopped, but it had momentum that I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I will say that I'm glad that the subplot was not really a subplot, like that it was mostly the Lewin thing. I will say, so the opening stand-up bit was like 3 minutes long.
I wrote that down. Why is it so long?
Yeah. It's like, it's a story he's told on Fallon, I think. And I
feel like I've heard that story like 7 times.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe Conan I'm thinking of. Or maybe he did
both.
He
said it on a podcast here and on late night. I do believe
Which is fine. Like, you can reuse stories. Who cares? But also it's like, so they just wrote 15 pages this week, Or did they cut it down and they were like, this is all we had usable? John, just go long, Because it has really nothing to do with the episode. It's this long story of how he got heckled in like a weird show in the South in Tennessee, but like the episode's about a roast going wrong. Like that's there's no connection there,
Yeah, I guess it's like a show going wrong,
right? Yeah,
but it's like I don't know, man. What's so funny is like the cold open's like 3 minutes long, and then they have like a gag take at the end. This episode was like 5 minutes long.
I know it was 5 pages, but also at the end, I'll say they show the end is they show some movie Lou is in, and they show one scene which is where he spits on a woman and she slaps him and he goes flying out of his chair. That one physical comedy gag of Martin Short jumping out of his chair is the funniest thing I've seen in this show. Like, I was like, he's such a good performer. Like, that's really funny. It's really dumb and base level of a guy falling over, but it's so good. It's a classic. It always works.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking is I was watching this episode being like, in our first or second episode of the Mulaney Rewatch podcast, I remark on the French toast poster in Lou's office, and now it's part of an episode. It's like
but it was
no stone unturned.
This is supposed to be 2 weeks later, so it makes sense.
Right. Yes.
So like,
dude, you're like blowing my mind with that because I could not help but get the feeling that the show was airing out of order.
Yeah. Which they do for stuff they don't give a shit about. They're like, I don't know, maybe this one will get people to watch it, and it just keeps not working.
I think next week's episode is the episode that we thought was the lost episode. Because we were like, Jane is trying to goad her cat. Yeah. That was like the thing. And it was like, what does that mean?
Oh, right.
I think that's next week.
Because they would have broadcasted out of order anyways. Yeah. That makes sense. Meanwhile, Jane gets a new cat, Omar. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, because they gave 5 episodes and then they just broadcasted in really weird order. That's so stupid. Dude, what the hell?
Maybe it was the one the critics remarked on the worst. So they were like, push it to the end. Right,
just push it near the end. Well, then I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So I mean, get into it. There's some good jokes, you know. What do we say? Please, actually, you say nothing. So Jane's whole subplot this week is about being a traditional woman, being like a 1950s housewife and being submissive and you know.
Jane wants an adult boyfriend, so she goes to Oscar, who is in like a etiquette stage of his gay old man life.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The guy, the person who will most tell a woman how to attract a man is an old gay man. They do that though. They do go to gay men for advice. But at least like for people their own age. What is a 90-year-old man?
Right.
Take away the sexuality. What is a 90-year-old man going to tell you about the contemporary 30-year-olds you're dating?
I kind of found the idea of it interesting.
The idea is
because
funny.
I like Jane and Oscar kind of team.
Yeah, they're an interesting dynamic. Yeah, but there's I don't know. We're kind of dumping around. I think so. There's one thing though that you said about like the jokes, like a lot of them bombing. Like there's parts of it where the jokes, like I just didn't even understand what the joke is supposed to be, and it's not making sense. And in a way, my eyes kind of glaze over. Like my dad once said about 30 Rock, he was like, that show is sometimes it's too funny. But which he meant, like, he just couldn't keep up with it, and he just kind of, like, was not on board. That's how I feel about this show, except the jokes aren't funny. Like, there's scenes where just stuff is being thrown at you, but that doesn't even make sense, so I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
With full respect to the cast, writers, and John Mulaney himself, this show is so fucking far up its own fucking ass.
Yeah.
It's like a little too, like, into its own thing that it's like, we don't know you. It's like when a new friend comes into the friend group
with their own, like, with their whole shtick.
Oh, look, not this guy. And it's like, you just got here 5 minutes ago. So you can't make a this guy joke. And that's what Mulaney's doing for the entire first season. Right. It's like, you know Andre. It's like, fuck Andre. I hope he dies by a gun.
Yeah. I know. Oh yeah, Andre is I believe the second reference in the entire series to the fact that he sells drugs. They're like, I have a study pill because I guess you can't say Adderall on network television.
I don't see why not. Study pill is crazy, but in the opening scene, you're talking about joke structure. John has this thing throughout the show, this episode, where Lou thinks he's tweeting, but he's actually just texting John. It's like, okay, this is just not that funny. And it's, but like, again, we talked about this. It's like, they'll do something and then they'll add on to it. And again, it's like hat on a hat kind of thing. Yeah. It's like Lou texts John and thinks it's Twitter. Fine. Because that's how you can reveal Lou's internal emotions later. Whatever. Motif goes, here's one of the tweets that John reads out loud and goes, oh, you should retweet that. Knowing it's a text. And nobody in the audience laughs. And nobody in the cast reacts. Like, guys, just cut it from the edit. Or did you already not? You had no coverage because the show is only 10 minutes long.
There's just 2 minutes long. Yeah. But it's all, exactly. It's also a thing where it's like, what is the joke supposed to be? It's like, you're doing a this guy joke. Yeah, it's like, Motif, he thinks tweets or texts are tweets, you know? And it's like, I guess he's just dumb. I guess every single person other than John is dumb, you know?
Yeah. And John is nothing.
John is insecure. But, like, whatever, like, who really cares?
Right.
Everything
He
works
also
out.
reveals he's 29 in this, and I think he says he's 30.
He's almost 30, yeah. He's about to be 30.
Okay. I didn't know if that was...
I think maybe he's 30 in an episode after this one.
That's what
I'm... Production-wise before. Yeah. I think that is what happens.
I don't know. They go to Lou's office and Lou holds up some award that I don't know what it is.
Yes,
and
that was the thing.
Can you believe they gave me this? I don't even know black people.
Which I laughed at, but I was like, is that an NAACP award? Like
it was like a big star.
Yeah, it's an NAACP Image Award. Okay, I think that is what it is. But like,
why would Luke Cannon get that?
Well, okay, but that works as a bit, right? It's like, I don't even know. But also, I don't know, maybe this is just my own ignorance, but that is not that recognizable of an image.
No, why would I know what that is? This show, remember when it was like, John says Jane looks like some obscure British journalist?
Yeah, Christian.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what you guys know, okay? I didn't go to, like, Northwestern University or wherever the hell John went. Where'd he go?
Georgetown.
I think Gaffigan went to Northwestern or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I don't know. Also, Lou is canonically friends with Michael Jackson and OJ, so you do know.
And Shaq in this episode.
In this episode, he's friends with Shaq.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of the jokes where I'm like,
but that scene was funny though. That whole Lou in the office scene was pretty funny, where he prank calls John's mom.
He just says, yeah. He just screamed. I thought that was really good. Well, he's just the MVP. He's just the best part of this show.
He's the Shaq of this show.
He's the Shaq of this show.
This show is the Orlando Magic. Luke Cannon is the Shaq.
Yeah, and Mulaney really wishes he was, I don't know, Dwight Howard. This is getting too deep.
Yeah, Dwight Howard works. I don't know if they played at the same time. But
they didn't play at the same time. He left the same season he was drafted. Anyways, what is
you're the basketball guy. I'm just the guy that fucks girls.
Girl. Come on.
Girl. Well, they gave me an NAACP award for it.
You put a picture of her up there, obscured with the Image Awards, so you don't to keep her anonymity.
It's just Queen Latifah.
Here's the thing I was thinking about was there's a weird thing. So obviously every writing class ever or screenwriting class ever, they tell you show don't tell, right? That is not what this show does at all. Every piece of exposition is the worst delivered. Like, Motif has to go, oh, you and Lou are really close friends now, right? And when I still thought this was 11 episodes in, I'm like, why didn't you just show in the past 10 weeks them becoming, rather than force it? Because you know that you didn't, so you have to have a character say they're, and like the same thing with Jane. It's like, how was your day? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so ham-fisted. That said, I think the point of a sitcom kind of is to just tell, like, as much as people love visual humor and physical gags, the stuff that I remember from the sitcoms I love are lines, are jokes that are funny, Yeah, maybe it's because of the way they're delivered or the character or whatever, but like, I think that's true for a lot of people. We say sitcom lines to each other, We say sitcom jokes. That's how we remember these. We say catchphrases and stuff. So I think there's a thing about a sitcom where I understand that as a sitcom writer, you just want to write funny jokes. I just want to write funny jokes. I get it. But there still needs to be work done to make those jokes exist in a world that makes sense, And this is not a world that I even understand, like the tone of it, I don't get. Like, Oscar is his own weird self that is like, he's like a old fashioned guy, but then the show doesn't make sense because it's like, that's an absurdist show, right? Like the Lose show, the game show. And then they decide to do like a weird, 1950s, like, parody of like a 1950s PSA reel at the end with Jane. Like, they're trying all these things, but I don't know what the tone is supposed to be. Like, is it heightened or is it not? Like, they're kind of not committing anywhere. A lack of commitment is the biggest problem with the show in every regard, I think.
Yeah, I think it's definitely... Yeah, it's just all over the fucking place. You really can't follow any bit of the show because the reality is all over the place. So I get what you mean. It's like, string it along. The best episodes of this show are when it's like, yeah, you have your B plot, but your B plot is so small that your A plot is just like, that's what's going on. It's where they are so they can do bits as they're going along. And then your B plot is like, that's just it's like an argument Jane and Motif are having while John has problems with Lou. And the whole thing is about John and Lou. Like, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
The 3 good ones out of the 10 we've watched so far, if you could even say they're good by comparison to anything but themselves. But, I get what you mean. It's like some sort of coherence. And there's, man, it just doesn't help. It's like, oh, I love this show, but I've been thinking about the show like this a little bit, that Seinfeld had Larry David to be kind of outside of himself and see the show as something else that wasn't a vehicle for both of them. And John, on Pete Holmes' podcast, Pete Holmes reveals that, like, John said to him, he doesn't have his Larry David. And John goes, well, no, I had a lot of very good... Of course you have to say that. I get it. Yeah. But, you don't have a guy like if you and me did a sitcom and like you're the star and I'm just the guy in the writers' room throwing Twizzlers at interns. Like at least I could be like, hey, Aditya, this is making you look like pompous. You know what I mean? Like it's not me. This is such a weird tangent. I just rewatched Predator last night. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. Yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's a story where he went to the director after he got signed on to the movie, and he had a script, and he had cut lines. He said, this line is 4 words, I'm doing it in 2. Because he knew his strengths to the point where it's like, I am a big muscle Austrian man on screen. You want to see me punch an alien. You don't want to see me speak more than I have to. And I don't know if John Mulaney has the internal self-advocacy that Arnold Schwarzenegger has in Predator.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And you know, I was actually talking to a friend of mine a couple days ago about this. He saw the clip that we put up about the Mormon ad. And he was like, yes, I had, because he watched Mulaney live. Like he's one of those guys. So he was like, he knew about it. And we were talking about it. And he was like, his point was like, I like him the best. And it seems like his own comedy is the best when it's weird, specific things. Like the thing he was best known for before this was Stefan. That whole point of that is just super specific, tight references. It's not, sure. and it's very famous, so it did well. But it's like it's not necessarily broad, you know? Like, I probably get 1 out of every 10 Stefan references, you know? I think they're all funny, but I'm not getting all of them, you know? And so this is, and what he has done since then, look at Oh Hello, look at the thing he did with the kids, you know? Or look at Everybody's Live, which he's doing now, which he did did you watch the most recent monologue that came out yesterday?
No.
There's a bit where the opening bit that he says up top is like, this is like almost a talk show. It's like this is a talk show that is on in a movie where the characters are watching a talk show. But it is really weird. I like they have a bit where they get like 12 different Willy Lomans from Death of a Salesman together. Like he interviews Michael Jackson's monkey, you know? Like it's a really, really weird specific show. And I think that's why it works. And I understand that I think that was definitely what he was trying to do with Mulaney. He wanted to do something that's almost a sitcom. Because I think that like my original take on this was he wanted to be like the Cosby Show. He wanted to do a classic sitcom. I don't think he did. Now that I'm thinking about this, I think he wanted to be almost weird. But he just didn't get there because no parts of it he just couldn't commit to any part of it. And like the bones of it weren't good. And so now you just get this thing that really doesn't make any sense at all. Everything is in business for itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder if it's studio stuff too. I mean, he got kicked back and forth between Fox and NBC.
NBC,
right?
yeah.
You know, it's got to be, difficult to watch just because they went through different iterations and stuff. And then by the time you get at the end, I'm sure it's not what he expected. But I don't know.
I'm sure they weren't treated well. There's just parts of this that make me think like it couldn't have just been like a craft thing. Like I'm sure they just didn't have any money. Like there's a scene where Oscar is teaching Jane to be more ladylike in Oscar's apartment. And then he says, here, watch this home video from the 50s that explains it. I'm in it. I'm the kid in the schoolboy dunce camp. And she goes, okay. And then he presses the thing to play it on a projector. And then they go, ooh, and it immediately cuts to the next scene of John and Motif. And it's like everything in that scene was building up to seeing the joke. They were setting up the joke of what young Oscar would look like.
Yes.
And then it's almost like, I thought like the version I was watching cut off. I was like, oh, is this a bad version? And then it cut to the next scene. And then they do that again where it's like the roast sequence. It like they have Lou introduce the roast, and then it's a crossfade, and he goes, ha ha ha, thank you, Shaq, and then another crossfade, and another.
It's like Macaulay Culkin not showing up in the show.
I was just so confused by it. Yeah, and so it must be a budget thing, I guess, and then the editor is just doing what they can. But like, how much? I don't know. Like, did they have zero money? Like, that was one of the sets where it's like. That was their set. They probably weren't paying more for it. They built it for the show, They're not going to the moon every episode. They're just staying in the same 3 spots, but somehow just burning through cash.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think that's a very good point because there's a lot of moments on this show. I thought that too when they go to show the video to Jane when Oscar's like, I was in this. Show it. That should be a bit where like Oscar is like doing something weird as a little boy. Like, I don't know. like whenever they actually do something like go outside in the pilot, it's like, oh, they're outside. That's crazy. Good for you guys. You got the budget to do an outside thing. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely a thing where there's some weird constraints that they like. You knew you were gonna have these constraints, though. You should have known it would be weird.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they didn't though. Maybe they realized because this was only 4 episodes in, right? Maybe they were like, we'll be able to figure. But to have blown your season's budget 4 episodes in, or to have just so little that you can't do the most minute things, like shoot like an intro, like shoot like a little boy in the 50s, you know, which they did. They did that for the Home Alone episode, you know, like they're clearly able to do a little bit of stuff, but then I don't know, like maybe this episode's in particular, maybe just everything we're saying about how they had like the gag at the end that just went on for a while, and like the monologues, stand-up monologue went on for a while. Like maybe they really just didn't have any money, and so they were like, John, just do 5 tonight, you know, and then we'll put it in. Like,
yeah, could be. I don't know. There is some clever things that I do like yes, they should have put Oscar in it. Yes, the weird way the roast looks is weird. I do like that John hits the stage, starts talking, and it cuts to motif and him on the couch. It's smart to not show the roast. I think that's like the funnier thing to do.
Yeah. Right, but that's funny because they cut he gets immediately offended by an old joke, but then they immediately, the only thing they cut out is what the actual joke was. He'll go, Lou is so old, and then they're just watching and it's like, that one's bad, and it's Lou crying. And it's like, could they just not have come up with a punch? I guess it's, actually, you're right. I think that is best left to the imagination, because the point of it is Lou overreacting to just something that is kind of innocuous. But, yeah, it just, in conjunction with everything else, it is kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, this show has moments where I'm like, okay, I see it. I think you really wrapped a lot of it up in what you just said about Everyone's in LA, though. That, like, this got away from him. Or maybe he wasn't famous enough yet. Yeah. He was the writer from SNL who popped out on the Weekend Update and had 1 or 2... Maybe, I think it was just he had the tape on Comedy Central, and then he had New in Town. Yeah, and it's like, dude, maybe that wasn't enough to justify your own TV show. Yeah, maybe it wasn't, because like at least like it
maybe in the 2010s at least. Yeah,
Louis did HBO special, and then what was his show on, like Lucky Louie?
Yeah, right? Lucky Louie, which was failed, but like, you know, he had that.
That's experience. A sitcom, and it like doesn't fit his whole thing, but it is an interesting thing where it's like the famous comedian who does something, and like it's funny that they both had a sitcom that sort of failed after a season or so. I don't know, it's just interesting.
Both like multicam sitcoms.
Yeah, and like they're trying to do something weird. HBO will probably let you get away with more than Fox will. But like, I think that it's just too early. It's a very expensive mistake. It's a very like costly thing, but almost nobody gave a fuck. I mean, even John talked about that in interviews. He's like, yeah, it didn't really affect my career. It felt like it did, probably for like a month after it got canceled. But it's like, nobody gives a fuck. You're good.
Yeah. It's funny for something to be such a failure that it's not even a failure. It's like it was so unwatched that it actually didn't matter. Like people didn't even know about it.
Do you think
for
it's
them
almost
to
like
not give him things?
Like when I got like laid off from the radio, it didn't affect my stand-up, but I thought it would. Like maybe it's so disconnected that it is almost like if you fucked up at your day job and you're like, oh no, everyone at the open mic's gonna know, and it's like, well,
who gives a shit?
Nobody's paying attention to your real life, like
right, and it's exactly, and that's the funny thing is it's like. All of his friends were on this, you know? All of his SNL friends, all of his comedian friends, the ones that weren't writers get an episode. We didn't even mention this in the last episode. Lou's ex-wife is in it for like 2 minutes of a scene, and she's played by Molly Shannon. Like, they got Molly
Shannon
across
the street.
Just from across the street for one scene. That's like, it's like a 3-minute scene. They just got Molly Shannon for it. Like, all of these people wanted to be in this because they thought John was a genius, which he is, but it's like, you just watch this and you're like, man, like nothing, none of the breaks went your way.
Nothing could help it. Yeah. Nothing could. Maybe if they actually got Shaq, they could have done something.
That would have been really funny. So you got Shaq and Macaulay Culkin.
We should see if we can get the stand-in for Shaq to come on this podcast.
Yeah. I'm doing it, man. I DM'd 2 of the writers yesterday. I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna email their managers. We're gonna get this.
I believe in you.
We're gonna get someone.
at the beginning, it felt so open. Now I just want one.
I know.
Felt like we could get anything.
Yeah.
We should be. Why are we not the Girls Rewatch podcast?
You can't keep that in.
I wish we were the Girls Rewatch podcast.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, same.
I'd rather do this than something like stupid and ironic, like the Talk to a podcast.
Talk to a, yeah. That exists solely so that people can, like, you know, post memes with, like, SMH, what does the world come to, you know? But it's like, they know that that's what they're there for, you know? It's funny, this podcast in my life has become a thing. I haven't told anyone about it, but because it's public, like, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm, like, talking to a friend tonight, and they're like, and someone will be like the girl, she's like, oh, is it like the Mulaney thing? And I'm like, yeah. Just like a beat of silence.
Yeah, for my girlfriend, it's like, she'll just watch one out of every 3 episodes and be like, I can't believe it's still going on.
Yeah. And you're like, the show or you too?
Nobody
like,
knows about this public thing that you and I are doing. Like, nobody ever asks about it. My mom will never know about this because it's too much to explain.
Yeah.
She barely understands stand-up.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing is it's like, yeah, my mom doesn't get when I, like, you know, tell a joke about a thing that didn't happen. She's not going to get this layer of something. Right. She doesn't know what a pilot is.
Right. She's not... This is like... We've talked about this enough on this podcast, but this is so that we do it, and then it's over, and then it's fun. I have nothing else to say about this episode, by the way. I have nothing else.
I'm just
All I have to say
through.
is that there's 2 Dan Levy's. It was, like, produced by Dan Levy. My girlfriend watched it, and she said, oh, that's that guy from Schitt's Creek. And
Schitt's
I'm like,
Creek, no, it's a different one.
This is the different one.
Well, he has a whole bit about that. The American Dan Levy has, like, a stand-up bit about, like, getting mistaken for the Canadian Dan Levy, and then, like, or maybe it's Dan Levy. I think Canadian Dan, Eugene Levy's son is Dan Levy, and then American is Dan Levy. American comedian's Dan Levy, yeah.
I think you're right.
Which also,
I think you're right.
You know what's funny? So I had never heard of Adderall causing diarrhea. So the end of the episode, Jane takes a bunch of Adderall so that she doesn't
nobody cares.
Fall asleep.
Nobody cares.
Okay, whatever. I never heard that Adderall causes diarrhea. Looked it up. It does. It happens in like a very small percentage of people. But I was like, I guess they did have an expert on staff.
Yeah.
I guess they had a guy who knew about uppers.
He would know. Do you think he was... Never mind.
Oh, was he on it at the time?
Do you think there was, like, drug use to get this show done? I don't know.
It's an interesting question. I mean, I'm sure that... I mean, this is getting into, like, just speculating about his life territory, which is, like, kind of icky, but it is
we
one of
try
those
not
things,
to do that.
We try not to do that.
It is interesting.
Right. Well, because I'm sure... I think he has said... This is public, and I don't think I'm, like... extrapolating anything. I think he has said it's like it started with him like, you know, prescription medication and it just kind of moved into, you know, more illicit stuff, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of substance users. But yeah, it would make sense if it's like my show that is fucking not that no matter how much work I put in, it's not going well. Let me spend another late night. Let me cop a friend's Adderall prescription. One 50 milligram pill can't hurt, you know?
Yeah.
That would be so sad. If this was the first step that like caused his relapse, his eventual
That's what
relapse.
I'm thinking. It's like, is this like
that
what
would be
started?
So crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean you have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. There is like a lot of drug talk on this show, and not even like I know the final episode that he mentions in an interview. He does peyote. Like, John does... There's people doing drugs on this show. It's not afraid of drugs, you know?
Well, one of the characters is canonically a drug dealer. They don't do anything with that. This is the first time it's been done.
Right.
But they write into the, like, outline of the show, this is their guy... This guy that keeps popping up, he'll be in every episode, and they know him because he sells them drugs. Like...
I don't know if John Mulaney is meant to create narrative television.
Right.
He's meant to do Everybody's Live or whatever it's called. It had 3 names. So it's like, whatever, man. That's great. Like, I think he just is like, it's like inevitable. He was just meant to do late night talk show. He was in the running to take over before Trevor Noah took the Daily Show. So it's like, I don't know if he would have been good at that. He's not not that political. He's more like a goofball.
He would have been, I mean, I think Update would have been great for him.
Update would have been incredible
for
him.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for Colin Jost and Michael Che to give him a rest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But even still, it's like, I think he's had the best version of his career, you know? Because, like, even Weekend Update, it's like, what did those guys do after? Like, Norm is maybe the one guy who's, like, Norm, Colin Quinn, like, who you can point to as, like, good, like post-update. Oh, well, I guess also Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Tina Fey and Jimmy Fallon.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, as stand-ups, you know? Like, Tina Fey, like, we know her because of 30 Rock. I mean, we know her for a lot of reasons, but it's like, she went on to make this show, actually. You know? She went on to make the good version of Mulaney. So
the good wife.
The good Mulaney. The good wife. The good Mulaney.
The good wife Laney.
Can we have that as the Photoshop, please?
The good wife Laney. Coming to Fox. Never. I don't know. I mean...
It's good. I think it's best that he did what he did, you know?
The career he got is the best version of it. And, like, he kind of needed a little dirt on him with Baby J. He kind of needed it. It made him a little more interesting because nobody wants to see an altar boy be silly on stage. I've learned that lesson, and I know you've learned that lesson. Yeah. Nobody wants to see the good boy who did everything he was supposed to do go on stage. You need some dirt. You need to puke in an Uber every once in a while to remind people you're human.
Yeah. And, you know, he's always said it's like, you know, there was always like darkness in my material and stuff, and it's like, but like it you know, you're telling jokes. At the end of the day, it's like,
right,
what are you doing? Like, if your jokes are all about how you're cool and normal and nice, then what is what are we even talking about? You know?
Yeah, he said about Oh Hello, it lets him be as mean as he really is, and that's one of the things that cracked me open to him. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm mean too. I like that you're mean. Like, it's fun to be mean. Like, let's go. Like, that's how funny people are mean. The funniest.
Well, yeah, you're a stand-up comedian. Like,
right? Yeah.
Of course you're. The way you interact with the world is like always trying to turn it into like the worst version of itself to turn it into a joke. You know, that's how comedy works. That's how jokes work. So yeah, no, you're not gonna be like exclusively like. I feel like there's people's versions of that. Like, I feel like the way I do, I try to be polite, but I'm not like nice. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the veneer of like, hey, like, I'm, you know, like, let me do that. Like, but like in reality, it's like, no, the only thing I'm ever thinking about is how to make fun of you. Or the world or something, you know?
Yeah. I am like pleasant.
Yeah.
But I'm not like sweet. Maybe I'm kind. Like, I wouldn't say I'm kind. I'm like thoughtful. I'm like, hey, that was a great set. I'd love to have you on my show.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing as a stand-up, I think you have to do is be like, they will never return the favor. I just have to be nice to
you have to put your name. Did you see, I forget what fucking group this was on, but I saw a post. Oh no, I think it was on Threads. The one time every 3 months I accidentally click on Threads because I was misclicked on Instagram. But it was some guy going, who I don't know. I don't even think he was in New York. But he was like, hey, stand-ups, what's the deal with, like, the gatekeepingness of booking people that hang out at shows? Like, I'm tired. I want to go home. And it's like, what are you talking about? That's not gatekeeping. That's booking people that they know exist. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want to meet people. It's like, okay, then you're not going to be anywhere. Like, if you don't know anyone, how are you going to get on anything? Like, just the idea of like, people should just know me, you know?
Right. It's like, you have to sacrifice to make good relationships with people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's such a messy, weird game that you only get to escape by becoming famous. You only get to escape it. And yeah, it comes with new problems, but it's like, every stand-up comic would trade the problems of a famous comedian for the problem. Like, they want the famous comedian's 100%. Problems.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? What is the especially these days where like all of your lives, like, if you want to be a stand-up, your life, the idea of like privacy does not exist for you anyways, right? Your life is all online regardless because you have to have some kind of public-facing persona. So it's like, if people wanted to, they could find all your dirt, you know? Like, they could go to a reel from 3 years ago that does not necessarily reflect your values and fuck you up. So it's like, yeah, you have the same risk factors. It's just that you don't have any of the insulation that comes with, like, being a proven success.
Right. Yeah. It's like, they either like you right away or they hate you. And then now everything's so divided politically. It's like, you just got to pick which side you want to like you and which side you want to hate you, you know? It's like, some people don't have to make those choices. Like, I get Seth Simon's emails. Are you on Seth Simon?
Yeah. No, but you will forward them to me often.
They're hilarious. Sometimes it's like, dude, you got like, what are we doing, man? I know Shane Gillis is like right wing adjacent. Why do you have to send me an email once a week about it? But it's just funny how like
Comedy Scholar is just so stupid. Like fucking just do comedy, you know?
Right.
It just maybe this isn't the case, but it just reeks of no one ever booked me on shows and it's their fault, not mine.
Oh yeah. It's not coming from a genuine place at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's hilarious, man. I love reading his articles. It's like, dude, what? Tim Dillon is a Republican? I know, dude.
Yeah. He's
knows. A gay, fat white man from Long Island. Like, he's an outward Republican. Like,
he just had Kevin Spacey on his fucking, as a promo for his Netflix special.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's an insane person.
Yeah. That's crazy. His Netflix special. Like, that's crazy. It is kind of funny, though. I actually do think it's funny that, like, on the network that kicked Kevin Spacey off, you use him on your Instagram to promote it. I would have Ghislaine promote my special. I would have someone of that caliber. Why not? I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
There is a difference between them, though.
Well, that also, if you're able to get access to Ghislaine, I think you'd have something to lose at that point. Unless you say you think we could book her for this?
Just like Ghislaine or Ghislaine?
Jizzing Lane Maxwell? So what do you know about the 2014 sitcom Mulaney?
Well, I am from France. And I love living on islands. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to
the last episode. We all, the episode just ends with, hooded men jumping in and choking us to death.
Oh, we should do that. We should do some long narrative con over the next 3 episodes with something like we're being chased for our...
Yeah.
No,
that's so much work.
Yeah. It's just going to go... There's just going to be 14 to 15 episodes of this podcast, and then a bonus if you're good.
We'll get some. I watched Blade Runner in theaters a few days ago, the original.
Oh, that's sick. Director's cut or theatrical?
The director's cut. That's the only version I've seen, not the original.
Yeah.
But it's so good, and there's so many parts of it that are, just, you'll see, shots of, rain falling, and it's, beautiful, but then it, comes back in the scene, and you're like, oh, that's how he knows that where he is in the house, because he's listening to the rain. And it's just one of those things where, having attempted to direct things before, obviously never on that level, but, just even, a short film with, a $10,000, $15,000 budget, and it's, the idea of getting any shot at all is a miracle. But then getting a specific, it's a beauty shot, but then it's also practical and it involves a thing. I'm like, I don't know how anyone has ever made a movie in their entire lives, let alone a good one, let alone fucking Blade Runner.
Oh yeah. Something so high concept and with so much depth to it. Yeah, Blade Runner's insane because it's like you did all this stuff and it's also a vague, weird, meditative mystery about
I know.
Harrison Ford might be a robot.
Right.
That's also hidden in the movie. Stuff in the movie.
Right. That's the thing. It wasn't even. You watch it and you're like, oh, that's such a small part of it. That's just in the background, and but he still pulled it up. God damn.
There's 3 scenes about a unicorn.
About a horse.
And that's all you get to go, I guess Harrison Ford is a robot. Or that guy who's dressed like a pimp can read his dreams.
I know. And Edward James Olmos. What a singular character as a human being,
Oh, yeah. I've never seen him in anything else.
You know who I get him confused with is Jimmy Smits.
Oh, Jimmy Smits. What is Jimmy Smits in?
So the big thing is NYPD Blue, but then he also played Melissa Fumero's dad on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, Jimmy Smits is fucking Princess Leia's dad in Star Wars.
What?
He is the guy that adopts Leia from when Luke and Leia are separated, and Jimmy Smits plays the dad.
In Star Wars, the prequel trilogy.
Right, but in the new edits, they cut him into the old ones to be like,
what? Okay,
hello, Princess Leia, do not blow us up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's in it. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Smits is... Good. That's why I know Jimmy Smits is, because he adopts Leia. Yeah. Well, that's all we have to say about John Mulaney. This was so not about Blade Runner.